Okay, welcome back to our Greek cities campaign. We're going to kick things off here by attempting to get some money back because we're currently down to a total of 249, which is not going to get us very far, and we do have a diplomat available to us. We're probably going to end up at war with Macedon at some point in the near future because we can see they are already planning to spy on Athens, so now is the perfect time to try and get some money out of them while we still can. So we're going to offer them trade rights. They're pretty happy with that, as they usually are. We're going to try requesting... I'm going to go for 600, it seems like quite a lot, but they do actually go for it, which suggests they are willing to roll over. So let's ask for... Is 2,000 absurd? I think it might be. They say it's balanced. And this time they offer 610. Okay, I'm going to try that again, and this time round I'm going to ask for just 1,500. Let's see if they find that a bit more agreeable. They push their offer up to 900, I think we should just accept that, that's fine. Okay, so that takes us up to 1,700 denarii, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to go back to this town. We're going to step this guy just outside of the town, and we're going to take this excuse to pick up a couple of units of mercenaries. And that is pretty much all of our money gone once again, but we do have some kind of defensive force now, which is great. We're going to go over to Rhodes. We're going to hire a single unit of peasants, and we're going to take the rest of these units, hop in the boat, and let's drop the tax rate here to 50% because they are threatening to riot. I think once the peasants arrive, that should go up to about 70%, although I guess it's a bit risky, so let's just go down to normal tax rate. 70% should be safe, especially once the peasants come in, so that should be fine. We're going to take this little force here and move it towards Apollonia. It's going to take another couple of turns, but hopefully we can reinforce at some point. Still hoping these guys are going to move out of our way because they're currently blocking off our bigger force. If they don't move, if they just stay there, then we might have to just go ahead and declare war on Macedon, because it's going to happen anyway. Corinth is pretty weak, Larissa is pretty weak. It's really just this one force, which is... It's an okay force, it's led by a captain, so it's not really massively intimidating, but... They have got a lot of numbers, so I'd prefer not to fight them and the Romans at the same time, but at the same time, I think it's probably just going to happen either way, so we probably just have to accept it. Let's jump into this town. Let's drop their tax rate down to low. And I'm going to leave my units in Messana because I don't want to get trapped in Syracuse. I'd probably prefer to hit this guy from behind. We've already spoken to Carthage, so we can't do much with our diplomat. I'm just going to go over to here and talk to this guy. See what he thinks of a ceasefire. He's not up for it, not surprisingly, but I think by doing that, we can now see possibly slightly more of his forces. I'm not really sure. So we can see 2 units of Hastati, 1 unit of Velites, 1 unit of Roman archers, and the factionaire himself. So I think we can probably take that, but we're recruiting in both of our towns. He does not have a town on Sicily anymore, so it makes sense to try and build up a bit more before we go for the attack. This ship here presents a massive conundrum because there are so many different things we can do with just these 3 units, and they could make a massive difference. So we could send them up to Nicomedia, or however that's pronounced. We could probably take that with just this force. We could also go west and attack Corinth. We could also go south and attack Kydonia if it's weakly garrisoned. There are lots of options. I haven't really decided what to do with it, but I think I'm leaning towards just sending it to the north here, trying to take this town before Pontus can get to it. Because yeah, if Macedon's not going to move, we're probably just going to have to fight them with our main force. And also Sparta is about to, or in fact has finished off its militia barracks. So we should actually be able to produce good units in this part of the map faster than Macedon can. So yeah, I think it makes sense. We're going to send these guys to the north. They've actually been blocked off by a Seleucid navy. That's kind of annoying, but never mind. We're going to burn our notifications and end the turn. And let's see what happens. So, the Romans have besieged their former town. I thought it'd go for Syracuse. Macedon hasn't moved, and Carthage is coming in as well. Clearly intending to attack us. That's pretty blatant. This is not great. This is going to be difficult to manage, because what I'd probably do is, in Syracuse, I would recruit some hoplites, because we've just finished off the militia barracks. So we could recruit some hoplites, send them in to attack this guy next turn, and then we'd have a bigger force. We'd be able to approach him from both angles at once. The problem is, what's going to happen instead is Carthage is going to besiege us, which means we're forced to attack this turn. We can see that these two admirals are coming in. I'm not sure... Oh, in fact, we can see exactly what these guys have. So they're coming in with lots of Hastati. They're coming in with Velites. I think this is exactly the force. Yeah, so they've left Apollonia behind. That's probably a good thing, but it's also really bad news for Syracuse. Syracuse is looking to be pretty badly threatened. I think we're just going to have to go out and attack these guys. We can see slightly more of what they have now. So we can see, I think, an extra unit of Hastati compared to before. I really don't trust militia hoplites, but we do have a pretty beefy general's bodyguard, and I think we just have to break out, so let's go for this. It's considered to be odds against us. Yeah, pretty nervous about this, but I think we just have to go for it. So, they have better range units than us, they have better infantry than us, and they also have the difficulty setting counting in their favour. So the only thing we really have going for us here is the fact that we're not controlled by an AI. I think that's literally it. So I'm a little bit concerned. They also don't want this fight, so what they might do is just back off until they absolutely have to come in. We might be able to actually approach them from an angle. Another thing we could try is just try and catch out the Velites and the Roman archers with our general. Don't really think that's going to work. I think they're going to be a bit too defensive for that, but I think that's one of our best options. Also going to have to make sure we keep the general's bodyguard very close to the rest of our units, because militia hoplites, of course, very poor morale, very likely to break. If this goes wrong, we've potentially lost Sicily, but we could come back and take it back, so it's an interesting challenge. I'm not sure I'm making the right choice here, but we're just going to have to see how it goes. Okay, so we're actually in range here. I'm fairly okay with the militia hoplites being attacked, but I can see they're focusing on my actual hoplites. That's really not what I want. I'm going to actually run these guys out. I've currently got my back face to them, which is not ideal. I'm going to send these guys in just to hopefully distract our opponents. Yeah, they're very much going out of their way to shoot the hoplites. Really want to keep those guys as healthy as possible. We've got a second unit of hoplites coming up to the right. So I think the only way we can make this work is we're going to have to catch out their range units and start using our own. Bringing up a general, we can see that they're very slightly ahead of their Hastati. I don't really think we can catch them out much like that. In fact, the Hastati are actually coming forward. Okay, so here we go. This is probably not going to work very well. Let's go to loose formation. And let's just see what happens. So we can see that the Velites over there are actually pretty isolated. In fact, so are the archers. I think we could get them. General's probably going to come in, but we might be able to escape before they can do too much damage. I'm not sure why these guys have stopped. Okay, so we're going to charge them. The general, I think, is coming to stop us. I'm not really sure. He's not doing the best job. I don't like the way these guys are choosing to target the very middle of this group, but then again, their general clearly doesn't want to engage, so we've been able to massively catch out their archers there. That really changes things, because now we should have range superiority. We're going to have to pull back, start playing it a little bit more defensively. I think that does make sense. So let's bring this guy all the way back. We can see they're kind of going back to place. The Roman archers have not given up, so we're going to have to go and charge them again. Hopefully do some damage to them. Hastati coming in, have to be careful, they could probably take us. So we're going to have to pull out. These guys are coming in for a potential charge. Let's pull these guys all the way back. And let's try and form these guys up slightly better. I think they're about to throw their Pila. Need to be ready to charge them in the back, and let's bring the hoplites round to the side. So we're taking lots of losses to these militia hoplites. If we keep our general close, hopefully we can keep our morale nice and safe. Just gonna have to take the hit here, I think. And let's start moving in. No, they're going back. Okay, so that's fine. We can shoot them in the back. Probably do as much damage to them as they've done to us. Velites there, still pretty healthy. Roman archers. How many did we actually kill? So we've killed about half of them. That's not really enough. try and line these guys back up. Okay, so they are mostly facing us. I'm going to try the same thing again. I'm going to try sending my general. I can't actually tell what they're trying to do. I think they're seriously considering going for a charge against us, taking us in melee because we are of course shooting them quite a lot. Their general is moving towards us. Okay, let's stay conservative here. I think we need to be very careful of them going for a charge. Their velites are looking pretty isolated. I might be able to catch them out. Shooting their Hastati in the back, that's good, getting quite a few kills for that. And they're not currently doing anything to us. So if we can just keep this going, the balance of power is actually shifting in our favour. The Hastati is starting to go down. Roman archers, I think, are considering firing on us. They are slightly isolated, going to go and try another charge. So if we just hit them from the side, that should work. General clearly doesn't want to engage if he doesn't have to. Let's go for this. Yeah, so we've definitely done a bit more damage to them there. The Hastati are running in. We should be able to pull out and escape them, and we're also shooting them in the back in the meantime. More Hastati coming in from them against our flank, but they're headed straight towards our hoplites, so we should be okay. Let's just go double check. So let's try and line these guys up slightly more efficiently. Let's bring our general back. And I think they're just going to throw their peeler. I don't think they're going to go for the attack. That's fine. Let's try and face them. Yeah, we took a ton of losses there. Okay, never mind. And they're going to probably try and pull back again. I don't really remember the AI ever really doing this in the original Rome. They wouldn't really use their peeler and then go back. They'd usually commit. And it looks like these guys have committed, so it's time to go for the rout before they can rout our militia hoplites. Yeah, they are going straight for the militia hoplites there. These guys aren't in phalanx stance. Let's make sure we get that right. We have successfully routed them, that's great. Let's turn our attention to their other units. And I think we can risk the peltasts. Let's go for it. Yeah, so they've still got some very isolated archers on their flank. General's still not willing to move. This is a little bit risky. I don't really trust these guys' range. I think there's a good chance they're going to get charged as, yeah, the general is potentially coming in. Let's pull back. So if the general wants to go in on his own, we can probably take him. That's probably okay. You guys need to actually skirmish properly. This is really not good. These are our actual archers as well, so that's really bad. Really depending on them quite a lot. Going to have to just send in our units, I think. They're not going to give up the chance to go for an easy kill against us. So just going to have to charge in with all we have. If we can catch out their general here, that's going to be huge. They are of course coming in with their own Hastati. So militia hoplites, I didn't think would do too well, but we've actually managed to rout him. If we can actually kill the man himself, perfect. Alright, let's pull back. And our archers are routing, but no, they've managed to rally, so that's great. Let's pull these guys away from the peeler. There's still a chance our general could be killed. They're probably going to withdraw pretty soon, I think, especially if we can scare these guys all the way out of the field, but no, they've rallied as well. Okay, so a still mostly healthy unit of General's Bodyguard is not going to be fun to deal with. But they're kind of moving off to the flank, so let's really go for their archers now. They're going to have a hard time stopping us at this point. Let's send our peltasts forward. They should be able to escape from anything except the General's Bodyguard. These guys are going for the charge against the archers. Let's make sure we rally just for the sake of keeping our general safe. We can see him at the back there. He's potentially going to get caught by the Hastati, so we have to be a little bit careful. But no, they're not really coming towards us. We should be able to properly rout the Roman archers this time. These guys need to stay pretty safe. Getting a little bit close to the general there. Pull our own general back. I think the archers are pretty much goners. These guys are throwing their peeler at... I think they're going for the Hastati, kind of going for the velites as well. The velites are a little bit isolated. We did just take a round of peeler to our general. Have to be a little bit careful with him, he can get killed. I might have to start moving in. No, We shouldn't move in, we should bring our archers back, we should try and draw them in by firing on them. If we can avoid fighting the general altogether, that'd be perfect, if we can get him to withdraw somehow. Because as soon as he withdraws from the fight, he's completely gone, they're not going to come back. Now that the general himself is dead, his unit is just going to expire as soon as the fight ends. Alright, so their velites are firing on our peltasts, but we're in loose formation, they're in tight formation. I'm hoping that's in our favour. We've also got our other archers coming up, let's put them slightly in front. And probably just have them fire at will, although I think we probably should go for the velites. Their general is, or their remaining general's bodyguard, I guess, is considering springing to life. We are kind of level in terms of numbers. We've got 126, they've got 134. Let's focus our archers on them as well. And I could probably catch them out with my general, but it's just a little bit too risky. I think their general is thinking of coming in. As they start moving closer and closer towards the back, they're going to keep turning their backs to us, which makes them easier to kill. Still have plenty of ammo left. These guys are just threatening to do something. They're not doing anything, but they're threatening to go in and try something, so I have to be very careful with them. But in the meantime, we're definitely getting more kills than they are, so that's all good. These guys are firing also on the velites. Probably is the Hastati we have to be more careful of, so I might start focusing on them a bit. But really do have to try and deal with these velites. So what I could do is I could go all out against the general, because if we can rout the general's bodyguard, then we can pretty easily catch out the velites here. Okay, so we've got a lone unit of Hastati that's thinking about coming in. I might go charge these. Oh no, they've run out of... That's not good. They have run out of, ammo. And they've gone in for the charge, which was not good. I decided to send in my general and the host so we could maybe rout them. Didn't realise we'd run out of ammo there, that happened pretty quickly. So the velites presumably are pretty close to running out of ammo as well, but just in case they're not, let's get out of their way. The general's bodyguard is coming in. Hoplites should be able to handle these. Yep, they're going to go for the charge. I thought these guys were on skirmish mode, maybe not. They actually decide not to go for it in the end, they don't commit, that's fine. Alright, let's focus on these, let's switch skirmish mode back on, let's bring our general up to support. And we've successfully brought the peltasts back, but since they have no ammo they can't really do too much. These guys are going to waste their peeler on our archers, that's fine. General's bodyguard has gone all the way back. The Hastati I think are going to come in. Let's go for them, they're isolated. We can definitely hit them with everything at once. And are they withdrawing? No, I think they're just repositioning, so let's go for them. I really want to try and keep these guys engaged, so I might just go for the charge here. Let's just see what happens. So we're kind of getting them in the back. Our general is at the back there, so we don't have to worry too much about losses. He's too close to the edge now, I don't like that. He's right in the middle of them, I really don't like that. Let's bring him back. And he is safe. Alright, let's bring our militia hoplites back. Let's turn our attention back to the archers. Let's try and shoot the Hastati in the back. Yeah, so I think we're going to run out of ammo before we can really do too much. A little bit concerned about that. Let's bring the rest of our units slightly closer. And if these guys don't have any ammo, which I don't think I've seen them fire for some time, then we can probably just ignore them and focus on the Hastati instead. So a total of 3 units of Hastati going up against 6 units of hoplites in total. Not the best quality hoplites, but once we've spent the rest of our ammo with the bowmen, these guys are actually very tired. Yeah, I think we can take them. Let's just move all of our infantry up as much as we can. Let's keep the general close by, and let's just completely ignore the velites. They shouldn't be a threat. We've got our actual hoplites on the flank, so if the velites do decide to try and flank us, go for a melee charge, we should be able to just about withstand that. Keep our general near to whoever needs us most. Ideally we'd go around and try and flank, but we also have to make sure we keep a close eye on our morale. The Velites are actually firing on us, so they have got some ammo left. I'm going to bring the general around here. And I think we're just going to have to go for the attack. This could go wrong. I'm not sure about this. They're kind of pulling back though, so okay. Ooh, okay, so the general's bodyguard is coming towards us. Let's pull them towards the hoplites. Let's send the hoplites in to deal with him. Not sure how to feel about this. Only halfway engaging. The general has charged our hoplites. He's been routed. Okay, fine. So let's turn our attention back to the Hastati. We successfully routed one of them. Should be able to chain route them. There we go, we've routed them. Alright, we definitely want to try and chase them down. So let's take everyone out of phalanx stance. Let's just run them down. Get as many kills as we can. Don't have to worry about the cavalry units. They're not going to matter. Got these guys from friendly firing. And let's just get as many kills as we can. Okay, so that went really well, but we have to remember there is another army of Brutii coming in. We're going to have to retrain as many of these as we can, and we also have Carthage to deal with. So that's only phase 1 of the defense of Sicily. We've still got many challenges to come. But things are looking good in Greece. The fact that the Brutii have moved off in Greece means we can actually probably go to war with Macedon and really start consolidating that. Okay, so the Carthaginian threat is still very much there. We're going to take our 2 units of hoplites, send them back to Syracuse because that's the only place we can retrain them. Make sure we retrain them as quickly as we can. Retrain all of the militia hoplites in Messana and pick up an extra unit of those. And we could actually start upgrading this town too. But we only have 2,300 left to spend. I definitely want to go over to Sparta, pick up some hoplites here. And it's probably time to start seriously thinking about attacking Macedon. We are still very much trapped by the Seleucids here, but we're going to move over towards Byzantium. We're going to pass this unit of militia hoplites over to our general here. Byzantium is going to go down in 4 turns. I don't feel very confident assaulting that. 2 units of hoplites against our very basic militia hoplites. Definitely a lot better if we just starve them out. Gonna send this guy's units over to land on this shore. And let's have a little look. So it really is mostly just the militia hoplites. They're really not much of a threat. I'm gonna go and talk to Larissa. They're still not up for an alliance. Just thought I'd check that out. Okay, so in this town they've got their factionaire. They've got 2 units of light lancers and 1 unit of militia hoplites. They have another town to the north, so let's go see how well defended that is. And at that point we should be able to make a judgment about how well the war with them would actually go. Let's check our notifications. So we're already the largest faction, the most advanced faction. Our commander in Sicily has improved, so he's now up to +3 command. It's not amazing, but it's a step forward. We've completely got rid of the Scipii in Sicily. And this is all just old news, we're not going to worry about that. Recruitment report reveals that we've got lots of new units of militia hoplites, making a decent amount of money, and we've finished off lots of ports, which actually, we should go and build some more of those. They're definitely going to make us a lot of money, so let's get a port in Thermon. Let's potentially get a port in Apollonia, although it is a bit too small as a town for that, so let's just go for land clearance. And let's start bringing these guys towards Macedon, because I think Macedon is likely to be the next biggest threat. In Athens, we're going to pick up another unit of militia hoplites, and in Pergamum, we can now afford to train hoplites here as well. And in fact, I have a feeling that if we just cancel the land clearance in Apollonia, because Apollonia is still fairly threatened, not really particularly safe, I think Pergamum is going to be the best place to build another port. I'm going to send these 2 ships back to bolster the rest of our navy, and I'm going to send this guy to the east, just to look out for Pontus, because Pontus is going to expand in this direction. We can see we're now officially in their lands. Let's have a little look for their settlement, and let's see if we can strike up a trade partnership. I'm not necessarily keen on going to war with Pontus at all. If we can strike up an alliance, I think I would go for that, although I do have the memory fresh in my mind of my Scipii campaign, and Pontus betraying me at the very end of that when I was already the largest faction, when I was already on the cusp of winning the campaign. So Pontus is not to be trusted. Last thing we're going to do is a quick cycle through of our towns, see if we can get the highest possible tax rate going on as many of them as possible. So Thermon can go up to a very high tax rate. Messana, I think, can get away with going up to a high tax rate. We're very slightly risking riots, but we're about to retrain some more forces, so I think that should be fine. This place is already very high tax rate. This place we've not assaulted yet. I'm not sure how I've ended up on this screen. Athens will try going up to a high tax rate, and that is all of our settlements accounted for, so let's just end the turn and see what happens. So Macedon has stepped out of Larissa, but otherwise no sign of doing anything. Carthage has gone for us and attacked us, and the Brutii and the Scipii have both landed on our shores. So the trouble is not over in Sicily yet, unfortunately. We've got a lot more to deal with. We're going to have to deal with them one step at a time. This is actually their faction leader. He's 67 years old. I was hoping he'd die of old age before anything happens, but it's not worked out on the upside. We've managed to pick up a new general called Cleon of Sparta. He's clearly just come of age. I want to see if we can find out a bit more about the Brutii here. Still not up for a ceasefire. No, it doesn't really tell us much. The Scipii are looking pretty weak. I'm not too worried about them. So they've not actually besieged us yet, which means we should be able to come out of our town. No, we're in their zone of control. That's very unfortunate. We don't really have good forces to take them on with. I think our best option here might just be to give it one more turn to let these guys build up a bit of a force outside of our walls. That's fine. We will lose a few units to attrition, but nothing too bad. That will give us time to pick up an extra unit of militia hoplites. And actually, we could perhaps try stepping just this guy out of town, just for the sake of picking up a few mercenaries. Let's give it a go. Does that work? Do I need to move this guy first? Let's try this. So he can step out of town, he can go this way, I think, yep. Okay, so we've stepped out of town, we can see that we can pick up 2 units of mercenaries. That's gonna have to do. We can't go back into our town, but we should be able to next turn. So next turn, we're going to have 2 extra units of mercenaries, 1 extra unit of militia hoplites, and I think we're just going to have to go for this. Carthage is not going to be able to attack us just yet, so hopefully we can fight off the Romans and take the rest of this back. Moving back over to Greece, we're going to do a pretty similar thing here. We're going to look for mercenaries, so we can't actually pick up any mercenaries on this particular force. I think I would still like to just go ahead and declare on Macedon. I'm going to send this admiral around to here so we can potentially go and reinforce Sicily if needed. I'm going to take our forces in Apollonia, and I'm going to strike out to the east. I'm going to move towards Larissa. In fact, before we do this, let's just double check. What have they actually got? So there's a captain right outside Thessalonica, which is their capital. It's looking... yeah, it's pretty weakly defended. I don't think we have to worry too much about that. And we already know that Byzantium is to the east. That is under, or soon to be under, our control. So we don't have to worry about that. This town has just picked up a wall, which is kind of annoying. I was planning to just go straight for that. I'm going to drop off next to it. I probably don't have quite a strong enough force, but this is a great mercenary pool, and there's not actually any mercenaries here, so that should be fine. It's 1 unit of militia hoplites, 1 unit of Thracian mercenaries. Yeah, that's definitely doable. We're not going to be able to assault them straight away, but still. Alright, so we know about Cleon of Sparta, we know about Syracuse. Elsewhere, we have been surpassed as the most advanced faction by Egypt, and Carthage has declared on us, as we know. Got some recruitment done in Sparta. We need to build up our infrastructure a little bit more as well. So in Sparta, we can actually go up to the next stage of barracks, which is going to give us access to armoured hoplites. And armoured hoplites are going to be the backbone of our armies pretty much the whole way through this campaign, because they're so incredibly cost efficient for what they do, for how good their stats are, that, yeah, they should literally just be able to carry us through this campaign. But obviously I'm much more worried about Sicily than I am about Greece right now, so I'm going to focus this just on recruiting units. Athens, likewise, we're going to pick up a few extra hoplites. We're going to try and bring this guy towards the rest of our units, although I don't think that's going to work, so what I might have to do is, yeah, let's just go for Larissa. Let's actually double check this. So Levy Pikemen, they have a morale stat of 2, so yeah, they're pretty much just as bad as militia hoplites. We can maybe risk going for a bit of a double-pronged attack on Larissa. Let's give it a go. So we're going to move this guy up to here, we're going to throw down a watchtower. And next turn we're going to go and attack Larissa. This guy is going to stay in place, this place is going to keep recruiting. Corinth is... Potentially we could assault it next turn, these guys are probably going to come and attack us, at which point we could withdraw. And that will then free up our leader to potentially go and finish off Larissa, or we can just come all the way through and attack Corinth. Over in Pergamum, we're going to start queuing up hoplites. And in Messana, we're going to get a militia barracks so we can start building hoplites here as well. And finally, we're going to go for one extra unit of Peltas in Thermon. And I think we're just going to have to leave this turn there. So we've encountered Pontus. Let's go and talk to them. Let's offer them trade rights. They're not massively sold on that. I don't think we'll get too much out of them. Let's try 300. They go for it, that's good. Let's try map information. And let's try asking them for 900. They accept, perfect. And as for an alliance, they see that as being very demanding. I'm going to try asking for it. They're not going to go for it. Okay, that's not too surprising. However, that is good. I had forgotten about that diplomat, and that does give us a little bit of extra money to splash around. So let's go back to Apollonia. Let's go ahead and build the next tier of farms. Over in Athens, we can't really do too much. I think Rhodes is going to be kind of helpful. Let's scroll down, see if there's anything else. No, I think we'll save the gold there. Let's go to Rhodes instead. And could potentially get another ship. Yeah, I think another Bioreme does make sense, because if we do end up at war with Macedon, we know they do have some kind of navy, and we're going to need to be prepared for that. Okay, so let's end the turn there. The Brutii have laid siege to us. Carthage have decided not to go and assault our town, and the rebels in Byzantium are just going to hold on for now. So yeah, this guy is not moving. I think we're going to have to just go and attack. So I don't really want to attack him with this force. I would prefer just to draw him in this direction, try and get all of my forces together. Let's go for this. We're going to declare war on Macedon. Not expecting them to actually take this fight. I think they are just going to come out and attack us. But that's fine, we should be able to follow up with the rest of these forces. This force we're going to send to Larissa. This force is potentially a little bit vulnerable, but if we just send them up, we can join them up. So they've got 2 family members in there, which is a little bit scary, but I think we can probably handle it. Yeah, this is the faction leader, so he comes with a small unit of elephants, which shouldn't be too much of a problem for our phalanx units. This guy can't go into our town, which is slightly annoying. So I could try attacking them from the side, and these guys will come in as reinforcements. Let's give that a go. Okay, so considered to be very much not in our favour once again, but we just have to go for it. Okay, so I'm expecting our reinforcements to come in from the left, so if we deploy like this, they're actually coming in from directly behind us, so that works too, perfect. Alright, so let's have a look. If we go up ahead to here, let's see exactly what they've got. So 1 Roman general, 1 unit of Hastati, 2nd Roman general, 2 Roman generals is going to be really tough. 1 unit of Velites, more Hastati, and more Hastati. So in fact, 2 units of Velites. Okay, so in terms of range units, I think we're probably just about even. But is that a 3rd unit? No, that's just Equites. Okay, so Equites should be okay if they can't flank us. And there are, of course, the Scipii backup coming in. Just 1 unit of Hastati. Okay, that's still not looking too good. I'm a little bit concerned. Let's group these guys together. And let's just start moving towards them. In fact, we do have to be really careful here, so it does make sense, even though it's really long-winded, just to try and approach them from uphill. And because we have the initiative here, because we're going for the attack, they're probably not going to come and rush us if we do relocate. So I think that does make sense. It's going to take a little while, but of course I will edit that out, and we're just going to have to see how this goes. Okay, so we can now see the entirety of the Scipii forces. It's 3 units of Hastati, so I think in terms of infantry they do actually outnumber us. We do have to be very careful. We probably just about can make this work with our range units. Send them forward. And let's keep our 2 generals' bodyguards on the 2 flanks. And we're just going to have to hope that the hill is going to be enough. There are 2 units of Velites I think are currently hidden, but Hopefully can't do too much damage to us. And if we can just catch out one of their generals, that's going to be absolutely huge. Okay, so we need to get them in range of our bowmen. This should be a pretty strong arrangement. Who are these guys? Just the militia hoplites, not sure why they're all the way to the back. Let's move them to the side. Same issue as before, we probably want these guys. Let's actually double check this. So these guys have 4 morale, which is not great, but it is better than our militia hoplites. So let's actually put them on the side instead. Let's try it like this. Then we can see we're not currently in range with our bowmen. Still going to need to go a little bit further. Let's try this. Okay, so they're threatening to respond, they're not really doing too much just yet. Let's make sure we position ourselves as well as we can. So this is our more threatening general's bodyguard, so it probably doesn't really matter too much if the hoplites aren't completely on the side. And then this is our weaker general's bodyguard, going up against the bulk of the cav, but does have some support from militia hoplites. They're officially in range, we're officially shooting at them, so we're slowly taking down some of their hastati. We don't really have the right number of units to make this work, but as long as we can fire on them, hopefully we can lure them into going for a bad attack. As we can see the velites there are spreading out, so let's spread out our range units too. They've really kind of made themselves pretty vulnerable there, so let's see if we can actually go for a charge. This is our 16-year-old, if he dies it's not the end of the world, he's not our commander. Actually he is our commander, but still. We can probably keep him safe, there he is at the back, he seems fairly okay. Over here we've got hastati, so yeah, we don't want to charge straight into them, but let's just try and do as much damage as we can to the velites while we can. Let's try and weaken them as much as possible. So these guys are about to throw their peeler, let's back out. Didn't take any losses there, but didn't get too many kills either. These guys are moving off to the side, which is a little bit suspect, but we'll keep an eye on it. So more velites over there to the left. Hastati coming in towards us, let's just pull back. Looks like they might go for the charge, although they are stopping to throw their peeler. And they're turning back. In fact, they turn back just in time to take a full volley in their backs. That's perfect. These guys are now coming in for a potential charge. Yeah, they are going to go for a hit, I think. Let's charge their velites with our general. And let's make sure we're ready for a charge on this side. Okay, so yeah, those velites are very isolated. These guys are coming in for the attack. Just have to go for this. Pull these guys back, yeah, so our militia hoplites have already routed. That's really not what we need. We're going to have to bring the other guy round. This could go very bad. General just about holding out. We need to bring the other guys up. I think our 16-year-old is going to die. He is our general. That's really not good. The rest of them are engaging. Gonna have to get over here before our other guy dies. He's down to 27. He's been killed. Okay. Alright, so gonna have to try and pull these guys around the side. Going for another charge on these. These guys are now broken. So let's see. So it's 42 of those against 70 of ours. We're starting to see a bit of a mass rout. This is really bad because if we do lose this, of course, we don't have too many options. Just gonna have to go for this. Hope we can start routing them instead. There we go, we've gone for a full charge on them, but it's not really worked. Gonna have to pull out. And our other general is routing too, so there we go, it's pretty much over. Yeah, I saw the balance of power, I thought that might not really work out, but unfortunately, it did manage to catch us out in a pretty bad way. Gonna have to just try and do as much as we can here. These guys are not gonna hold out for long enough for our phalanx to reach. And yeah, we're gonna have to bring over some more units from Greece. This is not gonna work. So, the fact that we've declared war on Macedon could be kind of a problem, but most of our units have survived. We lost a general, I'm hoping the other general is still alive. but we're going to be attacked by Carthage, we're going to be attacked by the Romans, we're going to have to bring over as much reinforcements as possible. Alright, so this tiny force of mercenaries isn't going to be able to do too much. We've still got a decent number of units alive there. If they did go for an assault, we'd probably still be screwed, to be honest. This is looking actually pretty tough. We've got 3 units of hoplites here that would actually do pretty well against this force. Yeah, if we could have only broken out, we would have been okay. The fact that they both attacked us at once has created a real problem. There we go, I kind of knew I couldn't trust Carthage, that is kind of how it goes. Alright, so let's go back over to this, and let's actually reinforce this guy. He might need a bit of backup if Macedon does decide to go straight for an attack. If they go to attack Athens, that's fine. Let's train up another unit of militia hoplites there. Yeah, I really don't trust militia hoplites. We saw how quickly they broke in that last fight. As usual, it was morale that screwed us. I think if we could have actually held on, we would have been fine. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go for a really quick fire attack against Macedon, try and take their towns as quickly as possible. Once I've taken Corinth and Larissa, I'll probably ignore Thessalonica, and I'll start moving my forces over to Sicily immediately. There is a chance that we will have lost both of our towns by the time that happens, but there's also a chance we'll hold out, and either way, we should be able to weaken them quite a lot. So I'm pretty confident we can hang on to Sicily. We've got lots of gold we can spend, so let's go ahead and get the next tier of barracks in Sparta, because that's really going to help us go for a really strong push in any direction we choose. Over here, I'm actually pretty tempted by a merchant, but let's avoid it. We only have timber on that island. I can imagine that's a very basic resource. It's not going to help us too much. Let's send these guys across to attack this. Just throw up a couple of rams. I'm probably just going to go ahead and starve that one out rather than do anything too complicated. Byzantium is going to hold out for 2 more turns. We're going to bring our navy around to Pergamum just to potentially take on this Macedon force. We can see there's a small army which could land, but I think we're ready for that. Last thing we'll do is we'll pick up land clearance in Thamon because it is a very small town and we want to grow it as quickly as possible. And we're just going to end the turn. We're going to see what happens. This is our besieging force, I'm not worried about that. Okay, let's see what happens. So Macedon also has Bielazora, I'm not too worried about that. These guys are coming in for an assault. We do have 3 units of hoplites. They have a unit of Numidian mercenaries, which is a problem. Balearic slingers likewise. But the actual infantry units, I don't think are going to be a problem. So let's just see what we can do. Let's try and take down as many as possible. Okay, so we can see they're going to try and come in from this angle. I don't think we're going to have much luck stopping them. So the best thing we can do is take our 3 units of hoplites and let's just pull them back to the town square. Probably want them to be actually in the town square because their morale could break otherwise. But if they're in the town square, it's going to be down to the enemies to take them down. So I am worried about the vulnerability to missiles, but I think that's pretty much the best we can do. I might actually send the militia hoplites up. Could try and block the gates. But no, militia hoplites again is another unit that performs a lot better in a town square, so let's just put them here. And the peasants could actually work as bait for the range units, so I don't think the AI is stupid enough to fall for that, but let's just see what happens. By the way, something I've not mentioned is I think in Remastered, the Romans are supposed to be better at coordinating and defending Rome together. I don't know if that means Rome the actual city, or just the kind of Roman lands, but that would explain why the Brutii have been so effective in protecting the Scipii. Okay, we've managed to take down their ram, and they're forced to go back. We've taken down a couple of Iberian infantry, and a couple on that side too, but literally, we're talking about a tiny handful of units, so it's not really going to make a difference to the final fight. Yeah, so we're shooting at a unit of town militia, that's not going to help us too much, although they are staying in place for now, so we're getting a good couple of dozen kills there. That's better than nothing. We're going to have to rely mostly on, of course, our units in the town square to get most of the things done. They've taken our walls, so we're just going to have to wait for them to come up to us and see what we can do. Okay, first unit is coming up. It looks to be Round Shield Cav. Okay, well they're not going to be able to do too much. They are a melee Cav unit, I'm pretty sure. They want to charge straight into our phalanx, that's fine. Obviously our peasants at this point we should pull back. I don't think they're smart enough to try and loop all the way around our phalanx. If they did, that would be kind of bad. As actually they are coming in from the other side too. And these are their Numidian mercenaries, so going to actually send my peasants to attack them because these are the units I'm most worried about, and they're threatening to start throwing their javelins straight into our backs. The round shield cav here are going to try and charge the hoplites, which is fine. These guys are going to waste their ammo on the peasants, that's exactly what we want. Let's go to loose formation. And I'm not sure whether to actually go for the attack here, or just let them keep using their ammo on us. Yeah, so we're going down ridiculously quickly. We are in loose formation, but it's not making too much of a difference. I don't know if it's worth... Don't know if it's worth really trying to attack them. Probably not. Let's just spread out instead. Yeah, because all we're really doing right now is we're giving them an excuse to not use up their javelins, which is not what we want. Okay, so we've successfully scared off the round shield cav. The town militia are likewise running straight into our phalanx. So that should be fine. Alright, so these guys I think are keen on just charging us. That's not ideal. But we actually might be able to catch them out if we just turn these guys round. Let's try sending in our militia hoplites. I'm not sure if they're actually this stupid, but we'll see if we can get away with it. So not worried about this. They could come round a little bit and flank us slightly, but I think that should be fine. They're getting very close to... So they killed our general, I think? Anyway, okay, so they're going to go for a melee attack, that's fine. Let's just try and take them out before we take too many losses. These guys need to turn around. Okay, so we've scared off the town militia just in time. We have taken a few losses here, but we should be able to scare these guys off before they do too much damage with their javelins. Yeah, Numidian mercenaries are charging in. Our general was with the peasants, so it's not too surprising that he dies, and we've managed to scare off these guys. We can see the general's bodyguard now is preparing to come in. Unfortunately, it's happening at a really unfortunate time because we are not ready. We are not formed up properly. They are in phalanx formation, supposedly. There we go. They're going to try and lower the spears. Let's just hope for the best. This is their faction leader. If we can kill him, that's going to be huge. Of course, morale is not a concern. Okay, so we're moving in. Our units are supposedly wavering, but of course they're not going to break here. General's bodyguard is still very confident in victory, so yeah, we've lost our phalanx formation, which is really unfortunate. What I might do is, because these guys just aren't working, I could just go back. I really don't want these guys to start using their weapons on us, so I might just go charge them instead. General's bodyguard there is holding out. There we go. Okay, so that's a silver lining. We've taken down the enemy king. Unfortunately, our phalanx formation is not holding out. I'm really torn here whether to just keep attacking them or try and stop these guys from shooting us in the back. I think realistically, we probably want to try and stop the Balearic slingers. This is, yeah, we're kind of being overwhelmed from both sides now. I'm going to go for these. I'm going to see if we can bait them into going for a melee fight. So the Iberian infantry are kind of going past us. Here come the elephants too, maybe we can try and get a few kills on those. Alright, let's tell them to stop so they lower their spears. Let's see, so these guys are down to 83. We have actually successfully routed them, so that's great. Let's take ourselves out of phalanx stance and let's just try and kill off as many as we can. Over here we're holding out, we're starting to kill off the elephants. We're not in a very organised position, but even so, we've got enough spears out that we can start doing some damage to the elephants. And we've actually managed to rout both of those units, so that's a really good sign. Let's bring these guys back. Try and kill these off before they can rout, and I might actually try and chase these, because they are the biggest threat. And who have they actually got left? So those guys are fleeing. No, they're not. This might be the final unit. Round shield cav. Okay, so they're broken. Who have they got left? Iberian infantry there, still eager. So I think that's going to be the last of the main opponents. I really want to try and chase the Balearic slingers down, but I think they are just faster than us, so going to have to pull back. The elephants, likewise, probably can't actually catch up to them, but I'm going to try. Okay, so the men can actually catch up to the elephants, and we are able to pretty much kill them off, also being helped out by our towers. That's going to have to do, let's get back to the square. Okay, so these guys are engaging us. Let's go back to phalanx formation. And we should be able to rout them, I think. There we go. Right, so these units, charge them down. They do still have that one unit of Iberian infantry. It's been shot in the back quite a few times. The rest of our units appear to be safe, although we have got a bit lost chasing down our opponents. Alright, let's go back to the town square. Make sure everyone is in phalanx formation. I'm going to try and keep my unit of 7 safe, because we can potentially retrain them in just one turn. It's going to be huge. Here we go. They should break really quickly because their king is dead. There we go, so they're all running. We are going to try and charge them down. They're not going to come back, so let's just see if we can get any extra kills. So we're running them down, we are slightly faster than them, they are tired. So should be able to finish them off. Perfect, so we have managed to pull a victory out of that situation. Killed off the Carthaginian king, and in theory we might be able to go for an attack on Carthage at some point, but of course the big priority is just going to be to take down the Romans. The Romans are a much bigger threat.
The enemy are utterly beaten. This is a crushing victory worthy of a great general.
Okay, so Thrace has backed off away from Byzantium, and I'm not sure where Macedon's forces have gone. We do have the spy, so let's just send them out and check that they're not hidden, waiting to ambush us. Let's see who this is. No, that's just some random guy. Okay, so there was a big force of Macedon here, of course. I'm not sure where they've gone, but looks like we are now safe to go and attack Larissa. So let's besiege that. Let's go back, firstly, to Syracuse, just to retrain these units as quickly as possible. Gonna pick up an extra unit of hoplites as well. And that's actually looking pretty strong now. We might actually be able to go back and assault these guys. Let's bring these guys back to our town. And can we actually retrain mercenaries? No, I guess we have to actually wait until there are more mercenaries available before we can try that. Okay, so we have managed to completely get rid of supposedly the captain's army, but it was of course the king's. Messana is still holding out. Okay, so back here we're assaulting Corinth, we're assaulting Larissa. Corinth could actually go down to just the hoplites, so might be able to send this force across to help out in Sicily, although we might not actually need them, so I think those are decisions we'll make next time. That is going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, do check the playlist link in the description to keep watching, and I'll see you next time.